Hello, everyone, and welcome to the open day for the MSc in Data Science and AI for the Creative Industries at the Creative Computing Institute. My name is Georgina, and I'll be your host today. And we're here to share all about this amazing course at CCI. And in order to do that, we'll have with us Louis McCallum, who's the course leader at the MSc. And we also have the pleasure of having two current students at the course, Tilan and Alex. To give you an overview of how the session is structured, we're going to start playing 3 videos that will share all you need to know about CCI and that hopefully will get you excited about joining us here. The first one is about the facilities, resources, and spaces available to students. The second one is about the research mission, the social mission that we have here at CCI, and the public program activities. And the third one is about the local area where CCI is based in Southeast London. Right after that, we will play a video that Louis recorded for us in which he will go through an overview of the course structure, the units, the approach, and will share all the details about the MSc. And right after that, we'll have the pleasure of having the two current students here at the course, Alex and Tilan, and we'll be going through some frequently asked questions and also covering any questions coming through the YouTube chat. So you have the chance to literally ask us anything that you feel the call to know about CCI or the MSc in Data Science and AI for the Creative Industries. Right. Before we continue, just a note to say that this video is going to be recorded and re-uploaded on YouTube with English closed captions. So if you miss any detail, know that you'll have the chance to catch up at your own pace as well. All right, so let's get this started. We'll begin by watching a video that will walk you through the amazing facilities, spaces, and resources available to all CCI students.
Welcome to the CCI Facilities tour. Over the next few minutes, we are going to show you around the campus and tell you a bit about the facilities and resources available to our students. CCI South London is located across 2 buildings along Peckham Road in Camberwell. We share our buildings with Camberwell College of Arts, which is a fantastic opportunity for CCI students to get to know and collaborate with students studying courses like fine art, photography, graphic design and illustration. The Greencoat building hosts teaching spaces and technical spaces for students studying creative computing and creative robotics. It also hosts the Dark Lab for AR, VR and interaction design. This summer, we are going to be creating additional technical spaces in this building to support the new creative robotics courses that open in September 2023. CCI is located on the 5th floor of Peckham Road, where we have teaching spaces and technical labs, as well as a kitchen, which is our main student hangout and study space. Ensures that these resources are kept up to date to help you complete your studies. Across the courtyard is Gardens House, one of a growing number of halls of residence across London. And on the ground floor is the Learning Zone, a space for self-directed study that is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to all UAL students. There are places to eat, like our canteen, student
Hello, everyone. Apologies, we're having some technical issues, so we'll be back playing this video. Hopefully, will work now, and let's try. If it doesn't work, know that again we'll be sharing this video, re-upload it, and we'll have all the videos fully working on that recording for sure. So let's try once again and see if we can make it work now. Thank you for your patience.
Welcome to the CCI Facilities tour. Over the next few minutes, we are going to show you around the campus and tell you a bit about the facilities and resources available to our students. CCI South London is located across two buildings along Peckham Road in Camberwell. We share our buildings with Camberwell College of Arts, which is a fantastic opportunity for CCI students to get to know and collaborate with students studying courses like fine art, photography, graphic design and illustration. The Greencoat building hosts teaching spaces and technical spaces for students studying creative computing and creative robotics. It also hosts the Dark Lab for AR, VR and interaction design. This summer, we are going to be creating additional technical spaces in this building to support the new creative robotics courses that open in September 2023. CCI is located on the 5th floor of Peckham Road, where we have teaching spaces and technical labs, as well as a kitchen, which is our main student hangout and study space. We have several high-spec workstation computers, where you can work on machine learning, data science, and other intensive computing tasks. We have a library on site with access to a range of books, e-books, periodicals, and databases. Our dedicated librarian, Beninia, ensures that these resources are kept up to date to help you complete your studies. Across the courtyard is Gardens House, one of a growing number of halls of residence across London. And on the ground floor is the Learning Zone, a space for self-directed study that is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to all UAL students. There are places to eat, like our canteen, student advice centre and support services, and an art and material shop. In summer 2023, we will redevelop the former London College of Fashion building at High Holborn. We will share this building with UAL's brand new PhD hub, which will help to ensure that CCI's focus remains around the development of world-class research. At our Holborn site, we will create new technical, teaching and library facilities to support our new courses in computer science and data science.
The technicians here at CCI all have a decade of experience doing really cool stuff with emerging technology. We'd love to help the students here with any questions they have about their projects. The Dark Lab is for experimenting with interaction, projection, sound and VR. Great for permanent projection setups. We've got a couple of VR booths. We've got loads of speakers and many other toys to play with. I specialize in creative coding and especially interactive things using Kinect and cameras and game engines, 3D graphics. We have a whole bunch of equipment that students can take out on loan, including projectors, Kinects. We also have laptop lockers where you can get a laptop to work with.
Physical computing really is just the connection to the physical world, to the data. Students have played with physical computing in all sorts of different ways. A lot of interaction with gaming and the VR world as well. Sensing various different bits and pieces, using touch especially, all sorts of different sensors to put things in a virtual world or vice versa. They could have things coming from a virtual world and bringing them into the real world. We generally lend Arduinos to all of the students, and with that we have a collection of different modules. This allows us to interact with the world in various different ways. Those modules could be sound sensing, they could be image sensing, they could be sensing the environment in some other way. The benches here are for the students to solder and prototype and put different boards together. We have different components with different levels of exploration with electronics, so you can quickly get something together on breadboard, or you might want to make something that's more solid.
I help students who want to use the digital knitting machine, the digital embroidery machine, and who are also thinking about incorporating electronics or computation into textiles or wearable kind of technology. We have a silver reed digital knitting machine. So that's a domestic knitting machine that can be computer controlled, so you can use it to create digital patterns, and that's used to produce knitted fabric. I tend to think of it like a 3D printer kind of for textiles. And then the other textiles machine that we have is a Brother digital embroidery machine. So that's kind of fully automated programmable embroidery machine that you can use to embroider textiles.
This is Digital Fabrication Lab, and we have 3D printing machine and laser cutting machine here. For our 3D printers, you just drag your design into the software and slicing it and directly push it to the printer, and your design will be materialized. For the laser cutter, it's also very efficient. Even very complex pattern, it will only take like several minutes. Most of students will use it to generate the housing for their physical computing things. It helps students to materialize their project quickly.
To find out more about our facilities and equipment, please visit wiki.cci.arts.ac.uk.
Now, a lot of students are interested in finding out more about the social research themes that we explore here at CCI, and also the social mission that we have and that underpins our research, our teaching, and all the public program activities that we run and offer to the public. So in the following video, we will share with you all about it. CCI's key research themes are creativity, machine learning and AI, human-computer interaction and platforms, and big data and digital citizenship. So we're interested in how machine learning and AI can transform people's creative practices, enable the creation of totally new kinds of work in music and art, and enable new people to get involved in creative practice. We've created a lot of software tools like Wekinator, Mimic, and InteractML, which are used by tens of thousands of people around the world to make new music and art and games. We've had staff and students exhibit work that's created with AI at venues like the Whitney and the Barbican, and we've had collaborations with artists and musicians like Arca, Massive Attack, and others. A number of staff and students are also leaders in community and activist groups. For instance, the Code Liberation Foundation teaches women and non-binary people how to make games, and the Critical Platform Studies Group explores how digital platforms might encode and even reproduce patterns of problematic power structures in society. This rich and exciting research environment is the product of many staff coming together from lots of different disciplines. These include not just computer science and art, but music, engineering, design, philosophy, art history, and all sorts of other domains. We all bring our excitement and experience from these different research projects with us into the classroom. And it's a place that I really love teaching, and I'm excited to share it with you. CCI's teaching, research, and outreach activities are all informed by our social mission. This mission has three components. They are digital inclusion, diversity in technology, and digital entrepreneurship. First, we are committed to the inclusion of marginalized people in the creation of technology and in the use of technology. This informs what we teach, both in the classroom and beyond the classroom. It also means that we have to recognize that the lack of diversity in the tech workforce right now both stems from and contributes to broader problems in our society, and we have to address these too. Secondly, we're really mindful about the impacts that technology has on the broader world. We have to recognize the potential harms that come with technology, whether that means harms to well-being or even exacerbating bias and inequality. At the same time, we're very involved in projects that aim to have a more positive impact on the world. We are collaborating with the Decolonizing Art Institute at UAL right now to try to surface and mitigate bias in museum collections across the UK. We have staff and students, some with disabilities themselves, who are making technologies that enable new ways for disabled people to interact with technology and create new forms of technology for themselves. And third, CCI is committed to creating digital entrepreneurship opportunities for marginalized people. If we want tech to be a force for good, we need to enable people to apply technology in ways that they're excited and passionate about, where they know technology is going to be useful. So this means applying creative computing to new application areas, to addressing needs in people's communities, and to affecting social change.
The Creative Computing Institute's public programme can be anything from talks, workshops, short online tutorials, conversations, and it's really aimed at engaging with the community outside of our students. Students join in it too, but it's very much for the general public. The reason I run it with so much passion is because it's a part of my ongoing research and practice, which is about including unheard voices in technology development. I think that we've got as much to give communities as we can learn as an institution from communities. And so engaging with the general public is engaging with users and having that dialogue, that critical dialogue, and then coming back and designing software and hardware from a more informed position is really important. I would love to tell you a little bit more about TechYard. It's a huge part of the CCI's public programme, and I've been running it for almost 3 years now. So it started in the pandemic as an online tutorial course for young people, and now it's grown into a hybrid programme. We go into schools, we run workshops here at the CCI, we collaborate with galleries all around London and hopefully soon beyond. And again, it's the ethos of engaging people outside of our student cohort with the critical creative computing conversation, ethics, and of course, like skills as well, right? So we can run 3D modeling workshops, virtual reality workshops, and we work with beyond young people now. So I do loads of stuff for young people, but also done some work with adults as well. Examples of past public programme workshops that we've run include inclusive design in wearable technology, designing a feminist chatbot, and queering voice AI trans-centred design. Next year, we will be holding our Creative Robotics Symposium, and we'll partner with Peckham Digital to support their annual Digital Arts Festival.
The following video we've got prepared for you will give you an idea of how vibrant and exciting is the area and culture that surrounds CCI's campus in Southeast London in Peckham and Camberwell. I hope you get to enjoy it as much as we do.
The area of Peckham and Camberwell is very much becoming a centre for art and performance and music, and so it's a natural home for what is a brand new centre of creative technology.
There's so much to do in terms of eating out or bars, pubs. It's very easy to get to like Brixton, Peckham from Camberwell.
I love Peckham. Something about the area, Camberwell, Peckham, New Cross, Deptford, with Goldsmiths as well, kind of creates quite a nice community. I definitely feel like where I live, which is close by, has a kind of community spirit.
Every year it just grows in terms of more things to do, cafes, galleries. The galleries I like to go to is the Hannah Barry Gallery, the South London Gallery. Peckham Levels do a lot of pop-up galleries, so it's always changing. Peckhamplex is really cool. It's just next to Peckham Levels. The best thing about Peckhamplex is the cinema tickets are £4.99 and it's the cheapest cinema in London. Also in the area there's lots of parks. My favourite park is Brunswick Park. It has Bauer Art Gallery set up by UAL students. It's just got such great access into other areas in town. The East London line goes straight to Hoxton, Shoreditch, Dalston. The community at CCI, really friendly. Everyone can just express themselves and just be themselves.
It's my third year studying at the Creative Computing Institute, and I've been really enjoying my time, and I'm very happy with all the knowledge I've got from the tutors and my peers. The community is really nice here. I feel like every time I'm stuck, I can always find the right person to talk to, and I always get further with my project.
Something about the space is really nice. It's a very kind of calming environment. Nice teachers, I find. So it kind of creates a welcoming environment. I feel like I can spend a whole day here and feel pretty happy. I can safely say that the technicians are really attentive and kind of excited as well. If you get Pete talking about something, he'll talk to you for like a very long time about like 50 different things that you could be doing with what you have.
I also go to the technical space quite a lot because it's really nice to just walk in there and ask questions and then solving the issues that always come up when you code. I think the most valuable thing I've learned here is that just by talking with people and asking them about what they're interested about and what they're passionate about,
This is how I've learned most.
All right, now it's time to start talking about the MSc in Data Science and AI for the creative industries, the reason why we're all here today. So I'm very happy to play a video now that we recorded for us, in which he will talk us through the approach, the units and the structure of the MSc. And hopefully all your queries and doubts about the course will be covered during this video. Remember that then we'll have the Q&A section and we'll be going through some other questions. So we encourage you to send us any doubt that you have on the YouTube chat, and we will be picking it up later. Thank you.
Anyway, next year. My name's Louis McCallum. I'm the course leader for the MSc Data Science and AI for the Creative Industries. We're a new course this year, so you'll be looking to come and join the second cohort, which is exciting. I'm just going to do you a quick presentation now where I'll show you the kind of people we're taking onto the course, the kind of environment you'll be working in, the kind of things you'll be learning, and the kind of stuff will hopefully let you go on to be once you've learned some skills on this course. By the way, you'll see my face change colour as I change slide, because I've got some quite big bold colours. I'm in a dark room, so lots of different colour effects to my skin as I change through. That's just me changing slides. Pink. Okay, so who are we taking onto the course? We offer BA in Arts and Humanities graduates the opportunity to re-enter their studies in an applied STEM discipline in a creative industries context. What does that mean? So basically what we're talking about here is it's a conversion masters. Although it's an MSc, and we'll teach you lots of technical stuff, we'll teach you maths, we'll teach you the statistics, we'll teach you the programming, we'll teach you the platforms. Everyone that we take on is going to come from BA in Arts Humanities graduates. And I think this is the right way around to do it. It's important with how much data science affects everyone in their lives. And what kind of often happens now is we take people from tech backgrounds, like who have done years of computer science or maths, Silicon Valley types, and then we go, we're going to teach you a bit of ethics, teach you to quickly think about stuff. You've kind of got to retrofit all these years of critically thinking that just comes naturally for arts and humanities students. So that's kind of why this course exists, or one of the reasons anyway. So this year, what have we got? We've got people from art history backgrounds, people from fashion backgrounds, people from design backgrounds, people from normal art practice backgrounds, people from film backgrounds, people from the social sciences, older people, younger people. It's a real diverse group, and they're all amazing. So I can't wait for you to join them. So yeah, that's who we're expecting, what you're going to learn. So we're going to aim to give you opportunity to learn computer and data science skills. So data science is pretty, as we said, ubiquitous. It's being used in all industries to analyze data, provide insights which then companies can act on. So in the fashion industry or the music industry, it's also being used to generate loads of stuff in the creative industries. So generative pictures, generative art, generative music, architecture, that kind of stuff, all kinds of crazy stuff. And it all sits on this background of being able to use computers and data science. And we're going to teach you how to do that. We don't expect you to have any programming skills when you come, although it does kind of help. We do have people that have started this year with zero coding background. So we'll assume that as a minimum. We'll spend the first part building everybody up to the same level, and then we'll move on from there as things get more complicated. So we really welcome a diverse range of backgrounds. All you've got to be is enthusiastic, and we'll reorient your skills. So what's a data scientist? one part statistician, one part computer scientist, and I've only got two hands. One part domain expert, actually three parts. So we can teach you the stats, we can teach you the computer science. You bring your domain expertise. You know things, you know stuff about the creative industries, and that's valuable knowledge. So we'll give you the practical skills to go in and go back to your industries and be able to analyze text and analyze fashion and design new buildings based on in architecture, based on data analysis, write new books based on literature, if that's your jam. So you've got the domain skills, which is super valuable, and we'll give you the stats and computer science skills to go out and make a difference. So I'll just do you a quick overview of the course, what you learn, what the structure is. So it's a 45-week masters. We start in late September, early October. There's 3 terms of learning, each with 2 courses each. So that's one short course and one big chunky course. We really get into a lot of detail. So that's 6 things you'll really learn a lot of stuff about. And then once you've built yourself up to be an amazing creative data scientist, you have the summer to do a thesis project, to really get your teeth into something that you love, that's something you're passionate about, something you want to research more, to do a really good substantial piece of work. Okay, so I'll go through each of the courses now. Unit 1, STEM for Creatives. So this is a course we run in the first term. It's kind of interesting to think of it as a kind of science, technology, maths boot camp. So as we say, we take people from a really wide variety of backgrounds. So we use this course to get everyone up to the same level. So we'll teach you about the maths that underpins a lot of the data science endeavours. We'll teach you some programming. It's going to be mainly Python for those who are interested, because this is what is used in industry. We're mainly taught by me. I'm from a kind of creative computer science background, but I've worked in the creative industries as well. We'll teach you how to work with audio, how to get information from audio, so it can then put it into models and train models on it, how to get data from human interaction, so how to analyze videos, how to analyze sensor data, how to work with images and all the maths that goes along with that. So it'll just be an introduction that'll pull everyone up to the same level, so everyone knows how to work with all these cool different mediums of data that are relevant to the creative industries. So then when we move on, you're going to have the real skills to work on it. Okay, we also run a natural language processing course in the first term. So this is our real first look at taking a body of data, and this time the medium is text, and trying to pull some insights out of that using data analysis techniques. So we'll look at stuff like text analysis, text generation. So you've probably seen a lot of these big, largely trained data generation models generating really plausible sentences and like over long stories which have beginnings, middles and ends, stuff that you wouldn't have really thought of a long time ago. So we'll look at how these work, simpler methods for chat, how you build Twitter bots that say funny things on the internet. So how these fit into things like chatbots that are used a lot in industry, conversational interfaces for things like Siri and Alexa, how those things fit together. What you see here on the left, this lovely diagram is from people at the Pudding. They do loads of amazing data journalism. The URL is just there. I suggest you check them out. So they did this amazing piece where they looked at 100 years of literature and looked at how people talked about parts of the body and where the biases were between how people talked about men's bodies and women's bodies, the words they used and the parts of the bodies they talked about. And they used natural language processing to comb through this big data set of loads of novels and come up with these really interesting insights and presented it in this beautiful way. I suggest you check it out. Yeah, so we'll be looking here at how you can get nice, interesting insights from big sets of text data, ready for us to move on to the next course after Christmas. Our first introduction to data science and machine learning. So we'll teach you the statistics that goes in behind this, how to build data sets, how to think about data sets. Where does your data come from? I'm really going to push ethics throughout this course. So you, rather than critically just, taking troves of data that's just generated from everything we do these days, and then analysing it and then using it to control stuff and to make decisions about our lives. I'm really going to push people to think about, where does the data come from? What was the complicity in this? What was the consent in this? Do people really know that their data was going to be used in this way? How was it taken in one way and then sold to other people? And also, how are the models used? Who benefits? Who loses out? What are the power structures there? And also, again, a lot of practical skills and how to do interesting things with data. And this image here, is a classic example of a classification problem. So you have two sets of labeled data and you want to try and identify whether one's one thing or another thing. In this case, what type of robot are you? Okay, so we'll also look at how you can use artificial intelligence to generate and analyze media. This is something which has come on leaps and bounds in the last 5 years, ever since the advent of deep learning. So you'll have probably seen a lot of videos and images generated and people going, this face isn't real, but it looks real. This cat isn't real, but it looks real. We'll look at how people can generate audio in raw audio and music in a symbolic form. A lot of interesting stuff's come out of Google in the last 5 years or so from the Magenta Research Group. We have quite a strong partnership with them. So we'll see some interesting stuff in that thing. You may have seen approaches such as style transfer, where people take the stylistic components of one set of videos or pictures and overlay them to another. So I could be talking and you can make me look like an oil painting or like a Japanese painting, or any other kind of style on top of that. Stuff with lip syncing and deep fakes, we've seen a lot more again in recent years, and I think this will continue to be a big thing. So you can learn about those things, and a lot of these video processing things are making their way into commercial products. The most recent version of Adobe has all these video processing effects that are deep learning models under the background. We'll also learn about GANs. You may have heard of these things, things which generate faces and do weird stuff. So that's going to be an exciting course. We have lots of world-leading researchers working on these kind of things at the CCI, to how to analyse and generate new media with applications in music, architecture, fashion, general art, practice, design, loads of stuff. Okay, so then after we've built up our skills, by the time we get to term 3, we'll have quite a industry-focused course where we'll look at case studies in how we can use these things in the data, our data science skills in the creative industries. I've just pulled this thing from, I think, government website, identifying the creative industries, which is a massive sector in the UK. Advertising, as identified by Mr. Bean, of course, architecture, arts and culture, craft, design, fashion, games, music, publishing, TV and film, as represented by an orange block. And we've also got the stock photo of someone doing VR, which of course is standard. So we've got lots of media, we've got lots of industry contacts. We'll help and we'll get them integrated in this course to really give you a good insight into how the skills are used in the creative industries. And then finally, we'll be looking at how companies in the creative industry use machine learning to analyze what their customers are doing, how they're consuming things, and then use that to personalize interfaces and then push recommendations back. So places like Spotify, Netflix, when they you finish watching a film, they recommend you something else. Amazon, all of these things. So not just how do you take all of this data that they collect from people and get interesting insights from it, but also how do you then take these insights and then update the experience that users have in order to change the outcomes and the experiences that they're having and the things that they're buying. If you look at, say, there's a guy called Francois Pache at Spotify who looks at generating music. Not only does he know all of the songs that people listen to, he knows what parts of the songs they stop at, what parts they skip. He uses that information to then generate new songs. So you can really get into this really fine-grained detail, which is then passed on to further generate new content or change users' experiences. That's what we'll learn about in Unit 6. And then we'll move on to the research section. At the CCI, we don't just have amazing teaching and courses, we've got tons of world-leading research happening among the faculty themselves in stuff like media generation, human-focused machine learning, game design, general media performance stuff. There's also a bunch of PhD students doing really interesting research at more of an early stage. So there's a real bustling research community. So when you're here and you're at the CCI, you'll be able to interact with these people, see the work that they're doing, be around opportunities for collaboration and inspiration. They hold weekly meetings on Wednesday. You can just go in, stick your nose in, and just see what else is going on in here. Hopefully that'll give you inspiration for moving in on all of your other talk courses that you do. The Creative Computing Institute itself, obviously you know something about it since you're here for the open day. People sometimes say that they wish these things had been around when they're young. Like, I wish the school had been like this when I was a kid, or I wish these courses had been available when I was a student. Which is true for this. I really wish it was. But it doesn't really quite make sense here. That's just because like the leaps and bounds that have come on in interdisciplinary research in the last, I don't know, 15 years to where we are now, to becoming this really accepted thing that you could have an MSc computer, data science program being taught within an art school. That kind of thing is so valuable and so relevant, with the kind of the ubiquitousness of technology into all forms of life and works and stuff. Something like this just couldn't have accepted for, and the people that are really on the forefront of pushing these interdisciplinary approaches to research, loads of them actually work at the CCI now, and it's a real bastion of that, and a real kind of shining light of what's possible when you combine different approaches from different academic backgrounds and practical skill learning to really make amazing academics and students that go on to do really cool things. So that can be you. Also, just in general, the technology, a lot of the stuff that we look at, the fact that you can do it at all, the fact that you can do it to the quality you can, the fact that you can do it on your own computer, the fact that you can run a lot of this stuff in browsers is insane. Like, it blows my mind. Stuff that like 5 years ago would have been unthinkable. So again, there's a real chance for these technologies to be integrated into industries, into context, and just that just wasn't at all possible. So it's a really exciting time for this course to exist. So like I say, I wish this would have been around when I was a kid, but it definitely couldn't have been when I was a student. It's a real course of our time, and hopefully will give you the skills to go out and have an effect on the upcoming world. We often have a lot of guest lectures coming in, so there's a focus on working with people from industry. We had someone from Cambridge the other day speaking, someone from BBC R&D coming in next week. Got someone who works with analysing chatbots for disinformation, who does work with the UN, coming in at the end of the term. So we've got a lot of amazing voices at the CCI, and we also bring in loads of external industry ones to contribute to that as well. We want you to get jobs, and this may seem like an obvious point, and we'll take it at like face value. we're going to teach you the skills that you need to get jobs, the skills that you need to work with the state-of-the-art technologies and the jobs in the industry that are out there, the programming skills, the math skills, the knowledge. But we also want to get you jobs, because then you'll be working in these places. As data is being generated at a massive level, it's super important that the people that are working in these companies have the kind of wherewithal and the critical thinking and the ethical thinking to really make decisions about what's done with data, what's done with models. Should we be doing these things? How do we do them right? So we take you who come with your arts and your humanities backgrounds. You've had years of training to think critically and properly about stuff. We give you the data science skills, then you can go into these companies, really make sure that what they're doing is done right. And that's important. Also, if you want a quick just like primer about what we're doing, me, Rebecca Freebrink, and Mick Grierson, all at the CCI, have an online course at Future Learn called Applied Creative Machine Learning. Requires no programming, all in JavaScript, all runs in the browser. And if you want a quick insight into the kind of fun stuff you might be able to do at quite a simple level with machine learning in your creative practice, check it out.
Hello again. Now it's a pleasure to invite Louis McCallum, who's the course leader, who you just heard a little bit from now, and T Land, who's a current student, and Alex as well, to this virtual space. And we'll have the chance to go through some questions together for about 15 minutes. So feel free to share with us any questions you might have about CCI or the MSc in Data Science and AI for the creative industries, and we'll be covering it together during the next few minutes. Hello, Alex. Hello, Tilan. Hello, Louis. Thanks for joining us here today.
Hey guys.
Beautiful. So before jumping straight into the questions, I thought that maybe it would be really nice to hear a little bit from you, Alex and Tilan, since you're students at the course. I'm sure a lot of students who are joining us today have a lot of curiosity about what are your backgrounds, how come did you end up here studying this MSc? So it'd be really beautiful to hear a little bit about your experience and why you decided to join CCI for this MSc. Alex, do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. Hello, I'm Alex. I'm an international student. Before going to UAL, I'm a working professional in management consulting. And before that, I used to work for a creative agency in art direction. So the reason why I want to go back to postgraduate and also choosing UAL is because I'm really interested in how the world will move forward with creativity and tech, and also because of the kind of creative projects I run at my professional job. So it would be nice to push it to another level with academia and also get the chance to meet people and also to do some cool stuff together. Yeah. And so I think everybody there's a chance to get into tech if you are not from engineering or computer science, and I'm sure you'll do great.
Thank you, Alex. Thanks for sharing a little bit about your experience. Tilan, would you like to share a little bit about yourself as well?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. I'm T, and previously I was studying industrial design and actually more about user experience and physical product design. And after the course, the undergraduate, I was thinking about, okay, to realize all the concepts I was trying to put in the real world, I was thinking about maybe it's time for me to learn about the technology behind this, or even more advanced technologies like artificial intelligence and how it would integrate with user experience or physical products. And that's why I'm here studying this course.
Thank you, T. Thanks for sharing. Beautiful. It's a pleasure to have you here. So thanks so much for agreeing to share a little bit about yourselves here. Beautiful. So moving on to the first questions that we received over on the chat on YouTube. We've got this first one that I'm just going to be displaying on the screen, so feel free to read at your own pace as well. So Ina shares, I studied psychology and maths at undergrad level, majored in psychology, minored in maths. Just wanted to make sure that's suitable for the course. Louis, would you like to take that one?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, that sounds good in terms of background. You've all, probably got some of the skills that'll be useful. I think, yeah, the psychology background is definitely an interesting angle on a lot of AI. And in terms of just like, I guess from a research perspective, like running experiments and stuff, methodologically, psychology has, I think, probably quite a lot of crossover with maybe the way that we study, the way that people use technology. I think in general, what we would normally ask for if you do have, if you don't come from, say, a humanities or arts background academically, that I think if you're able to demonstrate within the personal statement, which is part of the application process, do you have an interest in some form of creative practice or creative industries relevant to the course, then I think that's not a problem.
Thank you, Louis. Beautiful. Since you just touched on application here, shall we just go through a few questions that we received prior to the session today? So hopefully we can share some clarity on how the process works for anyone willing to enter the MSc. So let me just display on the screen, how does the application process work? Louis, could you talk us through the process a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you can apply through the General UAL portal. There are 2 dates, 2 rounds of application. The first deadline is quite soon. I believe it's in 2 weeks, 19th, maybe exactly 2 weeks. And the second round is in April. So you have 2 opportunities to apply. I think generally, if you in either round, you should be fine to still be, have your application looked at. I guess the advantage of applying in the earlier round is that if we do get a high number of applications, then basically we tend to get more selective. So you probably would have a slightly better chance in the first round. However, yeah, I think anyway, if you're applying by April, that's totally fine. So the application process, the main things that we look at when we're looking at reviews is your academic background and your CV, and also a short personal statement. So just obviously the academic background allows us to see whether you've done something relevant academics topic-wise, and also whether you've got the kind of achieved the requisite skill to move on to postgraduate study. In terms of the personal statement, that's your opportunity to show enthusiasm for the subject. So you could kind of tell us why your experience, either academic or professional or practice-based, or kind of maybe something which doesn't stand out as well on a CV, why that's relevant to the course, or just in general, why you think from what you know about the course, you're interested in studying it. So those are the 2 things we'll mainly take into account when looking at applications.
Thank you, Lee, for sharing a little bit about that. Beautiful. Since we have T and Alex here, it would be amazing to share a question with you that hopefully you'll be able to answer for us. And that is the following one. What sort of work will I get to produce during the MSc? Here, feel free to share maybe a little bit about what projects or assignments are you currently working on. If there's anything specific you would like to share with prospective students thinking about joining the course, so they get a taste about the sort of projects they'll get to work in, that would be amazing. So who would like to start first?
Maybe I can share a bit. I've started my first semester, so now is the end of it, and I have done 2 courses. First, the STEM for creatives, and also the NLP for the creative industries. So on both courses, I've got to engage in a lot of creative laboratory work. So every week, every lecture, we've got some theoretical background to go through in the lecture, and also have the chance to do creative coding in Python. So that is something interesting. And at the end of the term, you've got to do your own projects based on what you have learned. So basically, over the course, you've got to be exposed to a diverse spectrum of everything creative from audio, visual, things like that. So you're free to explore and based on what you're interested in, and then you can go on to go further on your personal project. Yeah, maybe Tilan, you can share a little bit from what you have done last year.
Yeah, thank you, Alex. One of my favorite projects through the course is the one with the unit of AI for media. So at that unit, we used and learned a lot of fancy models, AI models, like those that can generate images based on text or based on another image or based on anything else that could put into the computer. So I made like a style transfer to transfer like product sketch images to a rendered model image. So it's more about related to my background as a physical product designer. And it was fun to actually find useful data sets to put into the AI, the model, and it turns out to be really good. Yeah.
Thank you, T, for sharing. Lovely. So now let's go back to the questions that we received on YouTube, which are a few now. So we've got one question from India. Hello, greetings. Wanted to understand what are the placement opportunities after the completion of this course?
So I can take this one, I guess. In terms of actual placements, following the course, we don't have any like direct pathways into industry in that respect. Although a lot of us on staff do have a lot of industry contacts. A bunch of people from the first and second years have ended up either getting internships or jobs that have come through members of staff, and we've recommended stuff. So we get recommended stuff all the time, and generally, if we can't do it, we'll go, do you know what, though, I have some really great students, you should speak to them. So that kind of pipeline happens quite a lot, both in terms of, either working for external partners or in just for like other research projects at the university. So we've had students move into teaching or working on research projects with colleagues here at the CCI, or ended up working on either shorter projects or full jobs with people we've had maybe who've come in to do talks, that kind of thing.
Thank you, Louis. Since we're talking about jobs and opportunities for graduates who undertake this MSc, Louis, could you maybe speak a little bit about what type of jobs do graduates get in the creative industries context after completing the course?
Yeah, sure. I mean, because we get such a diverse group of people on, you get quite a diverse spread of what people want to do, and we don't kind of take people and say everyone here must want to be a machine learning engineer and move into software development, for example. That's definitely one avenue that people can go through, but data science is a really broad church. Kind of what tends to happen is maybe, I don't know, 5 years ago, when less people when companies had smaller departments for data science and AI and stuff, and it was being used that you might have one person that did everything. But maybe now, as there are more and more opportunities within it, people tend to specialize more. So if there's a specific area that you're interested in, which isn't necessarily specifically software development, there are definitely other parts to do that. Like, I know a lot of people, there are a lot of jobs where a knowledge of how kind of data pipelines or like particular AI data analysis models is really useful to the job, but not necessarily like an integral part of what you would do in your day-to-day life. So I know people that have gone on to work in, say, consulting, So they work at maybe a more kind of like project management, project kind of product owner kind of level. But obviously their knowledge of like what the software development teams do is super useful. Kind of beyond that, people have gone to work specifically in jobs in music, looking at like recommenders for music systems. One of my current students is working for someone who does chatbots. So they got originally hired to do conversation design. So that's the like place where you're actually kind of like designing how the chatbot interacts. But then based on some of the projects they showed them that they'd worked on the course, they decided that they would also give them some opportunities to work as a software developer. So yeah, there's definitely kind of more technical roles that people can move into, or in general, like if you are still interested in maybe a more traditional kind of designy role or like a kind of soft skills or management, that kind of thing, the kind of exposure to these things is also like a really nice kind of bow to have as part of your collective skills.
Thank you, Louis. Beautiful. We received a couple of questions from YouTube. This first one is about the personal statement, Louis, and they're asking whether there are any references required for the application process and how long it should be.
Yeah, so there is no references required. The only two things you really need outside of things like English language certification, if English isn't your first language, is a CV and a grade transcript and your personal statement. Personal statement should be, I don't think there's technically a limit, but I think if you can fit it into, you kind of want it to be a page-ish, I think is kind of the thing. Be aware that people do have to read quite a lot of these, and I think in general, being concise is good, and if you can get to the point quickly, then I'm sure that's fine. So yeah, no official kind of limitation, but I think 1 page is about right.
Thank you, Louis. And we've got another one that probably you'll be able to cover. So it's coming from Ina and says, when you say I should demonstrate interest in the creative industries, what does that involve? I've worked on a couple of creative projects at uni, do photography, make graphics in my free time, etc.
Yeah, that sounds exactly right. If you can show either an interest or indeed actually like proper projects that you've worked on, then this is totally fine. Photography and graphics are excellent examples of this. Maybe in the personal statement you could suggest how you might want to, you might think that learning particular skills about machine learning or data analysis might interact with these or kind of feed into that practice.
Perfect. Thank you, Louis. Beautiful. I've got a question here for T and Alex. Since you're both part of different cohorts, it will be interesting to hear from you as well and your experience. So it is about the theory-practice ratio. How would you talk about, how much of your time at CCI is theory-based and what is like the ratio for practice-based activities that you do at the course? Alex, would you like to start?
I feel like half maybe. Yeah, I've only been for 1 term, so far I feel like in every class we have both theory and practice. So kind of feel like half. What about you, Dylan?
Yes, I agree with that. Usually every class we will have like half of the time on the theory and the rest to practice to get hands-on the code. But for the assignments, I would say there's a lot of practical things to do throughout that. But that really depends on your idea and what kind of work you'd like to do related to your background and your interests. But yes, I would say it's more about practice, more practical based.
Thank you both. I've got another one for you as well, and it's about the size of the courses and classes from your experience. Could you share a little bit about what is that for you, Alex?
In terms of course size, class size, I believe for us, DS and AI, we have around like 30-something students. But honestly, when you go to class, you are sharing that with a broader discipline of students. Like every class, we have students from Master of Research and also students from modular classes who are doing, I believe, computing and creative industries. So the class size is pretty huge. But that's definitely an advantage because you got to meet people from a diverse background. And you've got to learn a lot and engage in a lot of knowledge exchange with people from different technical backgrounds, skill sets. So yeah, I think that's a great thing.
Thank you, Alex. T, what about your experience?
Yes. So in my year, there was like 15 or 16 students, I guess. I didn't really count them. But yeah, it's kind of a close cohorts relationship with each other because we really get together and share our ideas across different disciplines. And yeah, we were really close at that time.
Thank you. Thank you both. There is a question coming through which asks us, what is the class size for this year? Do we happen to know, Louis, or will that depend on the number of applicants?
Well, for next year,
Mhm.
I think it's going to be similar next year than what we have this year. Obviously, it does depend on the number and quality of applicants that we get, the number of places that we offer. But yeah, I think we've got about 40 students on the data science program, alongside, as Alex says, we run a modular program, so we would normally have maybe 10 to 15 other students who are kind of other CCI students who are also taking the units. So yeah, normally you'd have maybe 40 to 50 students in the room, and I assume that'll be similar next year. We are launching another data science program, which is more STEM focused and less focused on the creative industries. So it may be that some students end up heading towards that one. So it may be that the class sizes kind of dip again next year as we kind of specialize a bit more.
Thank you, Louis. We've got a question from William, which says, I'm still in my 4th year and won't have my grades until next year. How should I address that? Do you happen to know, Louis?
I think you can still request your transcripts from your first 3 years. So to submit as part of that. I think, I would assume this would be a problem for anyone who's applying straight from undergraduate, right? So I think, you can get a partial transcript normally, I believe. If you have any queries about this, you can also contact the applications team, the admissions team, and they should be able to tell you exactly what documentation to put in.
Thank you, Louis. The next question we've got says, hi, I have a BFA in fashion design and I'm looking to get into tech industry. I'm taking coding courses for Python and JavaScript. Would you say having this background helps? And there is a second part of the question which says, or is it creative coding a lot different from the traditional one? I'm not too familiar with creative coding. Thank you. How would you address that, Louis?
Yeah, so I mean, in general, right, the skills are broadly the same. It's more with creative coding, like beyond the mere like application area. So like the kind of things that you're doing and the projects that you're working on are more closely related to creative practice. In general, the way that you might work on projects in the creative coding context would maybe be a slightly more loose, a little bit more kind of focus on application rather than theory. So you're not necessarily like learning about concepts abstractly. Everything is very much grounded in putting stuff together. In which case there's kind of more focus on getting stuff done and building like what you want to do rather than necessarily making kind of really finished and polished exact things. So that's kind of the main difference between that. But if you've been doing JavaScript and Python kind of primer courses online, that's going to be useful for you, good practice to have. Although we do start teaching as if you have no skills at all. So if people don't have any experience of programming beforehand, we do start at the ground level.
Thank you, Louis. Okay, since we're almost at the end of the session, we're going to be going through one last question from the YouTube chat. from Michelle. Let me display it on the screen. Hello, is the self-initiated research project in the summer just a thesis, or could this be practice-based research work?
So yeah, the assessment for the thesis project is a 7 to 10,000 word thesis. So there is expected that there is a written application to it. Methodologically, we're pretty open to what you do. So if you wanted to make the way that you evaluate your work very much based on the practice, that would be totally fine. So I think in terms of practice-based work, generally there is a thesis element to it always, although maybe less focus on it. But yeah, there is the way that you want to approach the research in the project and what you want to do is pretty open, but you will need to write a thesis about it. But you could definitely explore your practice using some of the relevant topics you've learned about in the course, and then write about it in a thesis.
Thank you, Louis. Okay, the last question. I'm gonna take another one just because I think it's gonna be very quick to answer. So it says, I am US based, but I hold citizenship of South Korea. Will I still have to submit language requirements? So this is definitely an admissions question.
I'm not 100% sure to answer that, I'm afraid. I know that, yeah, there's a certain IEPL level that you have to be at. It'll either tell you in the application documents on the page, which I'm sure we can stick, like the main landing page for the course. There's an application section at the bottom. I think it'll probably tell you there. If not, yeah, there'll be a contact for the admissions people, and they'll definitely be able to help you out.
Yeah, that's the whole admissions team who basically liaise with all these requirements. So feel free to email them, and they will be super fast at contacting you again. Lovely. So I wouldn't like to end up the session before going through one question, which is the following one. What is the CCI community like? So here I would really love to hear from you, T, and Alex, especially about your experience being part of this institution. So yeah, it would be great to hear from you. Alex, do you want to start?
Yeah, I love the CCI community. I love that we are a diverse bunch of people from different backgrounds. We have creative people. We also have super cool engineers people. So yeah, it's like you really enjoy a lot to be mingling with people from different background from you. And it's that diversity that makes the place an interesting place to be. Yeah, so come join us.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you,
really
Alex.
do agree with Alex. And yes, the diversity here and the inclusiveness here is really attractive. And I was be here all day at the start when I start my course, and I love to talking about people from different background and see how they think about the technology and how they think about this course.
Thank you, T. Louis, would you like to add something there as well?
Yeah, no, the CCI community is great. There are the students is amazing. It's been really nice since we've been back from the pandemic and had fully in-person sessions, and people just hanging out in the space. It's a really nice vibe. Every year we get larger, we get more and more students coming in, which again, yeah, brings a nice diversity of people, and just the amount of people that are hanging out making interesting work is a really fun vibe. And as you can see from all of us today, there is a strict uniform of black. Which was uncoordinated. No, the community is really great. All of my colleagues are excellent. I've worked with them for many years and are all super interesting, and the students are also lovely.
Thank you, Louis. Thank you, Alex. And thank you, T. So we made it to the end of the event. Thanks for staying here with us. We ran a little bit later, but yeah, hopefully we gave you a lot of clarity on your doubts and your questions and your queries about CCI and the MSc in creative, MSc in data science and AI for the creative industries. If there's anything that we didn't cover today, or you still have some questions about the course or the institution, you can email us at cci@ac.ac.uk. Let me just display the banner on the screen so you can take notes of the email. That's it. You can email us anytime with your questions, and we'll happily get back to you with an answer. And that's it. Thank you so much to everyone who watched us today, who interacted with us, and we hope that we can meet in real person very soon. Thank you so much, and in the meantime, take care, everyone.